Hi, my name is Steve Faulkner. This is Real Magic Review, and I'm very tired because I've just been learning Anarchy by Ryan Goh. So please go and check out cardmagiccourse.com. I'm very proud of it. It's over 200 videos now, and we've just got permission again from more people. John Bannon's just given me permission to teach one of his tricks. So it's really building up, and we're getting a lovely community over there. So it's cardmagiccourse.com, and please like and subscribe. Got to say that, very important. And if you're feeling really generous, you can share it on social media and stuff and say, hey, here's a review show. I think it's good, and that would be lovely. So this is a triumph effect. Loads of them, aren't there? Been loads of loads of triumph effects. And I'm totally honest. I do the original. I do the original and Daryl's. That's the ones that I do. And Daryl's is based on the original. Two wonderful effects, and there's a reason why they're classic. So whenever we get a classic effect re-released in a new version, if you see what I mean. You've got to ask yourself, is it worth it? And hopefully I'll answer those questions now. So I didn't approach this with suspicion. I've got nothing against new effects, new versions of old effects. God, all over the place today. New versions of old effects being released. I'm not one of those classicists that's like, no, we've got to go with the original. I'm happy to, I love Guy Hollingworth's Triumph. There's some wonderful versions, and it's just a preference thing. I think they're all really, really strong, probably equally as strong. And the thing about Triumph is it's the display. That's the big thing, isn't it? It's how it's almost like the time between displaying that the cards are all face up and face down, and that moment where they are all facing the right way except for one card. Now this effect has its little kicker where you spread them again, and all the cards are in back in new deck order, which is a lovely little ending. So I will say this first of all, it is a beautiful effect. When you see Ryan do this effect, that display is stunning. It happens, it looks like magic, and it is just a really, really lovely effect. I'm not going to take that away from it. And there is some brilliant thinking on this. This is someone that really knows how to kind of use gaff cards in a way that will create a truly magical moment. So I'm not giving anything away, I don't think, when I say this is a gaff deck, all right? You're not buying like a PDF with the instructions of another Triumph routine. This is gaffed to the hilt. So the minute you get this, you look through it and go, right, okay. So I look through this and I go, okay, we've got a gaff deck. Again, no, I'm not against gaff. I tend to use a non-gaff deck in my work, but I think, if you're going to use a gaff deck, there's got to be a good reason for it. It either creates an incredibly strong effect that you can't get with a normal deck, or it makes it easier. Does it create a stronger effect? Now the magician in me watches this and thinks yes. From the moment, as I said, you're seeing that display of all the cards mixed up and they're all in one order, and then you've got this kicker, it kind of looks stronger to me. But, and this is a big but, does it look stronger to the spectator? Because if it's a good Triumph routine and if it's a strong routine, there should be no suspicion anyway that the cards are face up or face down. And I think, I remember first time seeing Triumph, and I saw the slip slop, that sort of in the hand thing, and I saw them mixed up and they were all of a sudden not, and I couldn't believe it. And I think if you see someone do the Daryl version or the Vernon version, or Guy Hollingworth do it looks truly mixed up, and then they're not. Now we look at it as magicians and we see the time differences and we see the instantaneous sort of, whoa, it's like when you see a thing with a flipper coin or something like that. It looks to us more magical, but does it look as more magical than closing the hand and opening it and one coin having vanished? I don't know. Well, I do know, and I think that to the spectator, there's, yeah, I'm not going to go into that, but you know what I'm saying. So, great effect, looks brilliant, but man, I said at the beginning of this, I felt tired. I've just been tearing my hair out with this. Not because it has a setup, all right? Now, when you've worked a while with this, and I've played with this for a few days, I know the setup now, but it's one of those setups that if you drop the cards or it goes wrong or you're trying to reset them, and we'll go into that in a minute, you just go, oh God, where? And I did it earlier today. I kind of got mixed up and I didn't know where I was. And I was doing that thing of sort of dealing cards out and working it all out. which isn't ideal, is it? Now, again, if you've been working for this for a while, you're going to do it a lot. I mean, I'm sure Ryan Goh doesn't sit there going, oh, where was I? You're going to be all right. But there is a setup for this, and there's some prep for this, and this is what you should know. The prep isn't difficult. The setup isn't difficult, but it takes a bit of time. There are a little bit of arts and crafts in there, not many. There's a little bit of work to be done, and the big thing for me is that I sat down with this the other night, and I got a little tray with a close-up pad on it, like an old man with a pair of slippers. Now I do have my slippers on in front, and I've got some music on, and I've got the telly, and I'm getting ready to learn it, and then it says you're going to need some repositional glue for the, and I'm like, and I didn't have any, so I was like, all right. So when you prepare, that's your hour or your half an hour that you're going to start learning it, and so you've got to know you need some repositional glue, all right. You need to do a little bit of tomfoolery to a card, and you need to know a perfect faro shuffle. That's what you need. So there is a version, there is a slight free version on this, which does look quite nice, So if you want to get it, I would definitely look at the slight free version if you don't do a faro. Is it worth learning a faro? I think it's worth learning a faro anyway. My faro is still a little bit hit and miss. I tend to get it most of the time, but under pressure, if the cards are a little bit iffy, I won't get it. And that's the thing with this. This is a Gaffed deck. So after a while, the cards are going to be a little bit iffy, and that faro isn't going to hit so much. So if you want to do the main version of this, and I think it is a lot better than the slight free version, then you're going to have to get a faro, and you're going to be faroing these cards, and you've got to think about that as well. So you've got the prep, you've got the glue bit, you've got the faro, and you've got quite a lot of moves in this. There's a reverse cull, there's the faro, like I just said. There's a slip cut, there's some simple, but you need to be handy with a deck of cards for this trick. I'd hate to think of someone seeing this thinking it's going to be like almost nearly self-working, because they're going to see that it's going to be a Gaffed deck because of, the way they're selling it, and then really not be able to do it until, so you've got to be really handy with a deck of cards. My feeling is this: it's really good, it's got some great thinking, it's tough, it's got a big setup, and the reset, because you're going to basically have to anti-faro, so you're going to have to either be dealing cards out or out jogging cards, or I reset with a cull, culling every other card, but the reset isn't instant, so there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of moves, big reset. I'm sure if you faro really well and do anti-faros and stuff like that, you'll be able to do that. There's a setup. So with all that, am I going to put some work into this instead of doing my Darryl Vernon Guy Hollingworth Triumph? And the answer is no, I'm not. This is a beautifully performed trick when you see it. If you like a challenge, get hold of it and sit down and learn it. But for me, it's not worth the extra work. I get strong reactions from Triumph, and I look at those reactions and I ask myself, are they going to be any better with this? Probably not. If I do this at a conventional for magicians, yes, they're going to love it. So in summary, I'll say something that's mentioned on the tutorial a lot. They say a lot, you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful. When you do this, you've got to be careful. And you've got to be careful with this trick. There are so many moments when you've got to be careful. Those moments themselves aren't very difficult. They're not knuckle busting, but you have got to be very careful with this. And that's why, for me, it's really probably not going to happen. But I mean, I'll play with it for a bit and see if it, see if it comes together. And any of you, if you've got this and you're really having some success with it, I'd love to hear from you and how you're finding it, because it could be just me. Probably not, but because I'm awesome and stuff, but being a dick. So have a good one. Comments, suggestions, go and check out Card Magic course. My name is Steve Faulkner. This is Real Magic Review, and have a lovely one. Cheers.